Hello fellow humans and welcome to this video and to maybe the dumbest bundle of all time, or something like that. That is the AMX CDC and the AMX 1357, because they're being sold for 10,000 gold. What the hell? Okay, now if you ever consider this, then just immediately unconsider it right now, because paying 6,500 gold for a bad Dracula and paying 5,000 gold for a tank that is worse than a Type 62, which was sold for 3,000 gold, is a bad idea. And also, playing the AMX 1357 is also a bad idea for your fingers because you click yourself to death. Going into an in-depth stats comparison and stuff like that wouldn't make much sense here, because that only makes sense when it's actually debatable whether it's worth it or not. In this case, it just isn't worth it. And that is not good. And let me show you this Dracula, which is faster, by the way. And I mean, this thing is by no means a slow tank, but it is not as fast as Dracula. It is also not as small as Dracula. This thing is a lot bigger, and it also has worse armor. Now the gun, the penetration, and the DPM are slightly higher, at 2,400, which is not too bad. Then again, the Pershing, which does have significantly better armor, does have 2,700 DPM, so there is that. And also the Pershing's free, and this one isn't. Obviously, the tier 8 tank to be considered is the Chimera, mainly. And this thing is just not even there. I mean, obviously there are some people that have it that are gonna like it. The problem though is that you're weirdos. You're just weird. Same with the MX 1357. So what can we do here? Obviously this tank has to be a basically second line medium tank, because it does not have any armor to play frontline, and it also is massive, so it is very, very easy to hit. So it is a very bad idea to just go in and actually fight. It's more of a tank destroyer than a medium tank, which does make it kind of sad. So, gonna have to watch out though for the actual tank destroyer over there. That is the ISU 152. Just maybe take a look. Nope. Okay, now it is very unfortunate that our ISU is dead. What I'm gonna try to go is try to go up there and try to flank them. There's a smasher, and he just shot, which means I will be safe. For now. I wouldn't be safe, obviously, because he does have 960 alpha damage against me, because my armor doesn't exist. Okay. Try and go for him a bit. And I'm gonna go around all the way. And maybe go after the ISU. Now, obviously, again, same case there. 960 alpha damage for him against me, which does not help at all. Yeah, let's keep trying to go for the smash here a bit. Maybe that will be somewhat useful. We're down to 3 people, which is not good. Especially in a situation like this, you don't want to have this tank, because obviously it is very team dependent, because you don't have any armor and you're massive, which means you can be very easily penetrated, you can be very easily killed. So yeah, well, those 2 guys are doing a great job over there. So now my goal, I'm still full HP, which is what you want to be ideally. Is to take out the ISU here, you know, move around from the back, or not. What you can do is try to present your side, because obviously then they're going to hit your tracks. The tracks go up all the way on the side, so it is a lot more likely that they're going to actually just not penetrate and just go into the tracks. So that is a lot more useful. Also, what you want to do, which that ICU is doing wonderfully in a tank destroyer, is you want to go up against a side of a object that you can't get flanked around. Now, obviously the tank mobility is good enough to avoid that. Okay, here we go. That is quite a decent game so far. Very nice. 3,000 damage. Now, this is ideally how you play this tank. You know, it's not a good tank, but you can play it very well, I guess. That's basically the point of this. So as you see, try to stay at a distance, try to be at the back a bit, and then you can play very well in this vehicle. However, I do not recommend it whatsoever, because to do that, you need luck, and you also need a team that plays along. Because if your team does crumble, if your team does camp, you can't do anything besides watch and cry, and that is also something I will do when playing this vehicle. 6 shots, 90 alpha damage, and you can imagine where this is going. So, let's get into the game with this very tank. Now, the problem with this thing is it's overpriced, because obviously you do pay 5,000 gold for a tank that is worse than a tank that's sold for 3,000 gold, as in the Type 62. You could also, for 5,000 gold, you can get a decent tier 8 tank as well. Not the CDC though, obviously. Another problem, you don't have any armor, which obviously makes it hard to play. Then, you have to click a billion times to do 1,000 damage. Which also means 1 second reload in the clip, which means you need 5 seconds to unload the entire magazine. And for those entire 5 seconds, you have to stay peaked. Which means in those 5 seconds, you can get shot very, very easily. Which means you just basically have to play from the sidelines. And you can't really have that much impact, because you're just sitting in a place and hoping that you don't get detected and shot. Because otherwise, you're dead, because you don't have any armor. The mobility is quite decent. Could be worse. Could also be better, obviously, and that is not too bad. Obviously, for a light tank, it is decent. It is nowhere near very fast light tank, and I guess that's fine. It's not too much of a complaint there. But overall, it is just a very, very bad tank for what it is, because the standard AMX 1375 is better and is also free. Now, the alpha damage is higher, the unload speed is higher. The armor is the same, the mobility is pretty much the same. So you'll end up at a better tank. Now obviously, there are a lot of people that are going to buy this thing and they'll be like, oh my god, fun. And then after 10 battles, it's going to stay in the garage because their finger hurts, basically. That's the main experience from this vehicle. I'd say the penetration is also quite horrible, so you're not going to be able to pen much. Even, you have 6 shots, you can't pen much though. And, you can't even hit much because everyone else is going to out-trade you, and then they're going to shoot you and going to pull back. And then a game like this, what can you do? 2 people are dead, and there's going to be some funky stuff going on here. As you can see here, I have to stay all this time, just to do 500 damage. And in all that time, I can't be shot at, which is not very nice. Now sure, I could try to reposition, take a better position and stuff like that, but in this kind of situation it is impossible. So the LTG is going to push me. Yep, I have no chance against him, because also the LTG is a better tank than this vehicle, and it's also faster, also has more armor, also has a better gun. So you see where I'm going with this, right? Yeah, this tank is overall just a very, very, very bad tank, and it should absolutely not be bought at all. But, I mean, there are people that like it, so that's fair. And I hope you did like this video. It's kind of a bit sad, but then again, those 2 tanks are also very sad. And, yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Goodbye.